Welcome to Geeks and Gamers Daily, the show that will be more profitable than Blue Beetle 10 minutes into it, because that's how we roll. I hope that DC is paying attention because we can clearly make a better film. So, James Gunn, you want to hire us? You want to bring us in? We can make you a profit. There's 7 straight films now that it's lost. 7 straight flop, Ryan.
That's what they said. I think that has to probably not be including the Batman.
That's true.
That's my guess.
So that did make a profit. Batman did make a profit because it made what, like 800, 700, 800
7, like
million?
it's like 775 somewhere around there, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, Batman did make a profit. But that was out of line, right? Not in continuity necessarily with the DCEU. So of course everything's a little questionable now with James Gunn out there saying, well, Blue Beetle is going to be the first character that you'll see of the new DCU, while it's still, being kind of forced to admit that this is part of the DCEU.
Yeah.
Even the director admitted there are references to Man of Steel in this. They talk about Superman. They talk about Batman and Flash and shit. So one of those quasi strange places to be right now for DC.
I thankfully have not seen it. Will not be seeing it, and apparently nobody else will either. A few brave souls have gone out there. The F&T Brotherhood, Sisterhood. I'm sure you guys had a fun time discussing it. And but we are here. Are you scanning in, chat? Is everybody scanning in as we speak? Ryan, are you aware of the scan in meme? Are you aware?
Yep, I'm aware.
Yeah, so another
So cool.
misspelling, that has led to a wonderful meme here at G&G. Scan in 199. Let's freaking go. Warren Smith dropping 10 gifted memberships to get the party started, and that's how we like doing it around here. We also got Mario Kart later tonight, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, Cobra Cast. I saw someone bring it. I can't remember who it was. I apologize. Somebody in the chat was asking if I've talked about Logan Paul becoming the new Jack Murphy on Cobra Cast. I was actually planning on that. Have you seen all the Logan Paul stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It is so funny, dude. Like
well, now it's getting to the level of like Photoshop shit, and it's like, okay.
Yes.
It was fun. It was funny for a while.
Man, Logan Paul is such a strange person because he's so incredibly unlikable, but he is talented. Like, this dude in WWE is fucking phenomenal. Like, he could be not just like he's already the best celebrity, wrestler, but like this dude has like all-time great ability in the ring. He's phenomenal. He really is. But he's such an unlikable piece of shit. And then you've got the whole scamming, the crypto zoo thing that CoffeeZilla exposed with him. You had the Suicide Forest deal.
That's a long time ago. That feels like a lifetime ago.
I know. But he's just he's such a piece of shit. He's such a strange weirdo. It's like he's made Jake Paul the most likable Paul brother, which is very impressive, I guess. I don't really pay attention to Logan Paul until he gets in trouble, but I have seen a lot of his clips from WWE. He really is a phenomenal wrestler. He's special. He's special in the ring. But now he's, and of course he's done the boxing stuff. So I don't know, man, but he is getting crushed. And I for one, love it because I can't stand the guy. I truly can't stand him. But we got a few things to talk about, Ryan. Let me read a couple of these super chats really quick. Slayer 96 says, Hail 199. Hopefully this week I'll be home. Well, hopefully you will be home.
Slayer 96 2nd with his goody bud weed comedy. He says right now he's in a mental hospital, so that's what's been holding him back from making his goody bud weed comedy.
Oh man, I'm glad they let you have your phone there so you can super chat us. We appreciate that.
That's right.
So, that's awesome. That is awesome.
If you're gonna go crazy, you might as well send us money.
That's right. Chris Karan scanned in for the week of 199. I see Adam in chat says, I hate Logan Paul, and I hate that even I have to admit how good he is in the WWE. He's phenomenal. He really is. He really is. Jay's Greasy Wiggler, Optimus Monkey scanned in. Obama. Kyle Denson, scan in. It's a me, Mario. Thank you, and shout out to Charles Martinet for voicing Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi Also, the babies, I think, too. Yes, there was a big announcement for Charles Martinet. Nintendo of America just dropped this announcement. Let's talk about this really quick before we kind of get to our main stuff here. Right here, we have a message for fans of the Mushroom Kingdom. Please take a look. Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far as back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving into a brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transaction, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with all of you. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate. Please keep an eye out for a special video from the man himself, Miyamoto, the creator, the godfather of it all, and Charles himself. So that's cool, man. And Charles Martinet retweeted it. It got a ton of traction. I know there was a lot of discussion about why he wasn't the voice of Mario in the movie and all of that. I always stood by the fact that once I heard Chris Pratt's voice, I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. And I do get it. Chris Pratt was the right pick, clearly, for all the right reasons. And Charles Martinet, I don't think I would have want to hear his Mario voice for 2 hours. You said the same thing, right?
Yeah, like I just don't think people would have wanted that. We got a little touch. He made his little cameo appearances, and it was like, oh, that's good. But it's like there's really not too much reason to keep him if you're not going to let him do what he does as Mario anyway, in terms of for the movie, right? Like, why would you have him do that if you're not going to have him do what he is known for or what he does? So I think it was fine. And yeah, this decision, obviously, he's getting up there in age. So eventually it's nice that they put that out there and like, hey, he's going to be an ambassador for us. He's going to be doing all these things with fans. So that's kind of a great way to kind of turn the next page in the Mario franchise.
Yep, 100%, 100%. All right, what is our first topic of the day, Ryan?
We might as well talk about Blue Beetle.
We might as well. What did you think of Blue Beetle, Ryan?
So I put a review of it over on my live channel. I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, but the problem was it was the least original thing you've ever seen. It was, I've seen this same movie probably a dozen times within the past decade in terms of like a superhero origin, but it was all done through this lens of, it was made for a Latino population, for Latinos to relate to, blah, blah, all this stuff. Really, it's just talking about Mexicans who live on the border of the United States. That's really all it is. So even a lot of people in South America aren't necessarily really connecting with this because it's completely unrelatable to them. But that's what it was all about. And to me, they went too overboard with that for the general audiences in terms of the references, in terms of talking about this Mexican celebrity or this Mexican cartoon that they watched growing up. A lot of the humor and a lot of the family dynamic was all based around their culture. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it necessarily, but the problem was it was just so heavy with that stuff that it became probably a little bit unrelatable to you if you didn't understand a lot of these references. Top that off with a little bit of white man bad keeping the brown man down, and you have a pretty heavy-handed message in the movie, which just didn't go over well. It's probably like a 3 or 4 out of 10. It's not the most horrific movie that's ever been made. It's really dumb. There's parts of it that are okay, and there's a good I like the idea that they focused on family, but unfortunately the family overstayed their welcome, became very fucking annoying and cringe. And we have a movie that people are not relating to and are not going out and support. Funny how that works.
Amazing. Yeah, so I was just seeing the exhibitor relations put WB confirms Blue Beetle will officially debut with $25 million this weekend. $25 million. Holy
This is embarrassingly bad. This is the worst opening in DCEU box office history. Now, there's a caveat in there, at least domestically, because domestically, it did beat one movie. It beat Wonder Woman 1984, which came out on the same day and date release on HBO Max for free. And also, when theaters, there were only 2,000 theaters open, they were at like 10% capacity in the United States. Wonder Woman 1984 made $19 million its opening weekend. Blue Beetle made $25 million. That's the one thing it beat. And when you look at the international numbers, it didn't even beat Wonder Woman 84. Warner Brothers suffers worst ever DCEU superhero box office opening overseas. Blue Beetle suffers awful box office opening. So if you thought $25 million was bad for domestic, and it is bad, it's a horrific number. It's worse than Shazam 2. It's like a third of what The Flash opened to. This is how bad it is internationally for them. According to box office expert Luis Fernando, the Warner Brothers Blue Beetle suffered the worst ever opening for a DCU movie overseas with 18 million, even below Shazam Fury of the Gods and the pandemic release of Wonder Woman. Look at this shit. I want to see this here. Here, the international opening sets a new low for DCU, taking in less than Shazam 2's 34 million. It's about half of Shazam 2 and half of Wonder Woman's 38.5 million. And then The Flash opened to 75 million international. Black Adam opened to 75 million international. Blue Beetle opens to 18 million. This thing is going to flop extremely hard. And you know what? I guess we can take the opportunity to say thank you, Angel Manuel Soto. We appreciate you, the director of Blue Beetle, directly responding to a clip from this stream here on this channel. When we talked about his Batman is a fascist line at the end of the trailer and how weird and off-putting it was, that went viral. Now, for us, it was for all the wrong reasons because people were shitting on us. But I guess Angel Manuel Soto decided, since everybody's shitting on these guys, I guess I can too. When people were celebrating that people like us were mad about that line in the Blue Beetle trailer, the director was laughing and said, I guess my job's here is done. And he doubled down when somebody else said the right people are the ones who are today angry about the line Batman is a fascist. And Angel Manuel Soto, my job here is done, with a Barack Obama mic drop. Well, I guess your job is done. Angel Manuel Soto, you stupid, dumb bitch. You made a movie that is setting records for being the worst received movie, the worst of the box office in DCEU history. And I'm not so sure you're going to be working there for much longer.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So we were talking about this right before the show went live. And so Ryan knows, and a lot of you know, the number one thing I do when a Hollywood nut job or a prominent person starts running their mouth is I always check for TDS. And he, of course, has a severe case of TDS. And as soon as he started, Lofty Pixels, by the way, is the one that kind of really started this party on the tweets. As soon as he started getting exposed for his anti-Trump tweets and talking about how he wanted the 45th president of the United States to suffer the same fate as Abraham Lincoln, and we all know what that was, he went protected mode on his tweets. And to my knowledge and to Ryan's knowledge, he has not unprotected his Twitter account since. It's still protected right now. So I don't know if anyone knows what he's been saying. And that is, again, hilarious to watch this all play out. I love seeing this happen. It's to the point where we are 100%. We have been proven right about Hollywood. We have been proven right about superhero films, Disney, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, and DC. We have been proven right. We were right. The fans were right. This has been a disaster. And it's to the point now where it's almost pathetic to keep kicking these weirdos while they're down, but it is still so damn fun because they're so smug and they still look down upon you. Even with your $25 million opening weekend, you still look down at every normal day, everyday normal people that just are doing their jobs, going to work. They may have a different opinion than you, and you somehow think lower of them while you have the worst opening ever in the history of the DCEU. Hilarious, but I'm good. I'm good with it. Continue to make it easy for us.
There's obviously a lot of stuff that goes into it too, as we've spoken about at length. There's a problem with DC. There has been. James Gunn came in and, in my opinion, made things a little bit worse by announcing this reboot, but not really being very specific with anything. So nobody has any idea what the plan really is for these characters. They can come out and say, oh, well, if this does well, Jaime Reyes will still be in the DC. They can say that shit as much as they want. They don't know. They are reeling right now. Black Adam, Flash, Shazam, now Blue Beetle, massive, massive failures for them. You're looking at likely what's going to be another $100 million plus loss for them on this movie. Now, this isn't a massive $250 million budget movie like we see with the Marvel movies. This is, more reasonable. $120 million was the production budget. That's very similar to what Shazam 2 was at 125 million. Of course, you're going to hear all the cope now. Oh, well, they didn't market it at all. Oh, well, they didn't spend anything on. Yes, they fucking did. I've been seeing Blue Beetle marketing for forever on this movie. The same excuse they used for Shazam 2. Guess what? When the numbers came out, Shazam 2 had about $100 million marketing budget. And they tried to pretend like that wasn't marketed at all. This one, I'm going to be conservative and say probably around 75 million. I think that's reasonable. So, but either way, you're looking at something that needs to make somewhere between 350 and $400 million just to break even. You're going to be lucky if this thing gets to 130 million worldwide. Like that's where we're at with this shit show. And contrary to popular belief, I don't really root for a ton of things to fail necessarily. I was rooting for this movie to fail and flop hard because of the director. Not when it was announced. When it was announced, I was probably more excited than the vast majority of other people out there.
I'm probably one of the few people that knew who Blue Beetle was.
Yes, I know who Blue Beetle is, and I actually like Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle. I probably own more Blue Beetle fucking comics than 99% of the general public out there in my long boxes. So I was like, hey, I like Miguel from Cobra Kai. I like Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle. We'll see. I mean, maybe they could do something cool with this character. And then the director came out and directly took a shot at me and at us on this show. And from that point forward, I have been waiting and biding my time and ready for this opening weekend. And now we knew it was going to happen all along, but I don't know if any of us knew it was going to be this bad. The worst opening in DCEU history. Congratulations, Angel Manuel Soto, you dumb fucking bitch. I'm glad your movie flopped, and I hope you never get another job in Hollywood. And I hope you fucking starve, to be honest with you. Go fuck yourself.
Yes. Hell yes. That's what I'm talking about. It's so wonderful when people in Hollywood fail. It really is. They don't respect you. They don't respect the fans. They don't respect the source material. And these people need to continue to have a dose of reality. And that's what he's getting right now. And I am completely okay with that. Jack Hudson for $2. Thank you, Jack. Thunderstrike, the Babylon Bee had a meme that if the writers don't get what they want, they will write another Obi-Wan. I'm on their side.
Yeah.
Oh man, when is Ahsoka supposed to come out?
During Tuesday night's main event.
Okay.
At 9 p.m. They shifted the time up. For the first time, Disney Plus actually did what people have been asking for like there's a lot riding on Ahsoka, I think, for them. They're finally not debuting something at 3 in the fucking morning East Coast, and they're doing it at 9 p.m. Eastern.
So. What is the again? So this I'm so detached from it. I've seen that. So I guess there's a lot of access media that's already gotten screeners for it or whatever. Correct. One of them
is not even just, to be clear, not even just access media. You can go like there's a form you can fill out on Disney's website to get access to some of this stuff. So even like YouTubers, like it's not like they sit there and review all your stuff. If you have a platform, they can send you something. And not even necessarily if you've liked everything from Disney before. That is there. So it's not just access media who's been able to see some screeners, but yeah.
So what is a lot of people saying?
I think the general consensus from what I've seen from most of the people that have seen it is they enjoy it. There are some people that are saying it feels a little flat, that Rosario Dawson feels a little flat, but that Sabine's actress is the standout, praising female empowerment, and so excited to have multiple force-sensitive females. Which, yeah, that's going to be a heavy theme in this series, I think.
It was pretty obvious
overall,
from the trailer.
Overall, it's positive. You know what I mean? And like I said this before, yeah, there's a lot of women in this series, but it's a Rebels sequel series. Kanan is dead. Ezra is kidnapped by Thrawn, and Thrawn is missing. Like Ezra and Thrawn are missing. So you're kind of only left with the girls, with Hera, Sabine, Ahsoka, Zeb. I don't know if Zeb's retarded ass is going to show up in this. I assume they brought him into Mandalorian. And then Chopper, if you want to count Chopper as a male character, I guess you can. But there's just, if you're going to do this story, it is going to be very female centric. But it's all about how are those characters going to be portrayed. I have my belief, and what I feel like Dave's going to show everybody. But we'll see.
Watching it? Are you going to watch it?
I'm gonna review it. Yeah. So
I will not be watching. but it'll be fun to see what happens with it. Disney
I
Star
think
Wars is
it's
100.
somebody asked me the other day, like when I was on stream, it's like, what do you say to people? And I think he brought, Star Wars Theory as the example. I know Star Wars Theory loves Dave. Like, what do you say that Dave Filoni's like the last hope for Star Wars? And my response was basically, even if Ahsoka is the best series we've ever seen, like the best thing possible, Star Wars can't be saved. Like, Star Wars has been killed.
Mhm.
They've destroyed the original trilogy. They've destroyed Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Leia. They've destroyed the prequels. They've destroyed Star Wars. So at this point in time, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if it's the best thing ever, I don't think there's any hope for Star Wars in this iteration of Star Wars, because it's all connected to the sequel trilogy. And as much as a lot of people wanted to cope and pretend like there was hope that it wouldn't be, before the first episode of Mandalorian aired, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni told you that they wanted to mesh together this with the sequel trilogy. And then, even in the first season of Mandalorian, they connected it to the sequels. Second season, they connected to the sequels. Third season, even more so, they connected it to the sequel trilogy. This has always been something that's leading into the sequel trilogy. So to me, Star Wars can't be saved until you decide to actually, you would have to tear everything up and say none of this ever happened. None of the stuff that happened under Disney ever happened ever. Other than that, Star Wars can't be saved. So I don't think Ahsoka or Dave Filoni can save Star Wars.
100% agreed, and that's kind of why I'm just if I need to have some level of hope, at this point, and I just don't. Like, when I was railing on Disney Star Wars for years, I genuinely felt like that something will come of this with enough fans rallying around it, with seeing the diminishing returns. I genuinely felt that something could change it if they would just realize how bad they've messed up. Um, Obviously, after the Rise of Skywalker, and then when nothing really changed, that was pretty much the end of the road for me. I know that then we had the Mandalorian, which was a massive bump for Disney. No way to look at that other than it was just a massive win for Disney. But they didn't even capitalize off that momentum. They've lost all that momentum as well. Season 7 of the Clone Wars I thought was phenomenal, but it didn't matter. And obviously, everything they've done with Mandalorian, Boba Fett, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was truly the worst thing. And so, yeah, it does. I 100% agree. It doesn't matter. Ahsoka could be the greatest show ever made. It doesn't change the fact that Disney Star Wars is dead. Dead. It's over.
And I think it's going to be well received. Again, I fully expect this show to just piss me the fuck off in every way possible, because it includes so many things that I hate. But I think the general public is probably going to enjoy it. I do think there's going to be some people that have no idea what's going on with the show. Apparently, if you haven't watched Rebels
Rebels
you're
is
going to be pretty
not something
lost.
that a lot of people have seen.
I don't
I
think so
would say
either.
like 80. I'd say 70% of the audience, maybe 75% of the audience that watches Ahsoka had probably never seen Rebels, maybe even higher than that. You know what I mean? Rebels was not like something that was mega popular. I mean, even Clone Wars, as popular as Clone Wars is in its little niche way, it's not like a lot of people watch Clone Wars.
Yeah, when you compare it to the movies and the fan base
Yes.
for the movies, it's a niche compared to that. But
Yes.
Rebels was on Disney XD. Like, Rebels did not get a lot of people watching it. Now, obviously, when it went on streaming, there's been more people that have picked it up since it went on streaming on Disney Plus and things like that, and have caught up with it and become fans. But how big is that fan base? I don't really have an answer for you on that. What I've heard, though, is that if you're not a Rebels fan, or like have never watched it, you're probably going to be a little bit like lost about it. Now, maybe that's going to go back and make people really get into it. That's always a possibility too. But I think it was Chris Gore. I think I was watching Chris Gore saying it, and he said, he's basically, I watched the first couple episodes of Rebels, and it felt like it was for kids, so I stopped watching it. But then I got thrown into this, and it's very clear that like all the things you need to know aren't really explained, even in like a Cliff Notes version. You just kind of hop into it. Left kind of wondering what's happened to set this all in motion.
Yeah, and I overall I enjoyed Rebels. I don't think it's anywhere close to the Clone Wars. I liked Rebels. It's fine. Nothing. I'm not gonna die on the hill of Rebels. I did enjoy the end. and I felt like it sets up for something. The setup is really good, and that was we're so far removed from that. So much stuff has happened since then that I just don't care. I don't care. And I think that's the bigger problem with it right now is so much more. You have done so much more damage, and bringing Anakin back into this after what that probably would have been really cool for me if Obi-Wan Kenobi never happened. You know what I mean? But Obi-Wan Kenobi is just so bad that I know they're going to fuck this up again. Probably won't be as bad as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but
no, probably not. It's probably just gonna be flashbacks or whatever, but it's like, or the alternate realities that we've seen, her walking through. But the the whole thing is, I don't care if you get fucking CGI Han, Luke, and Leia to like hug each other and jerk each other off for like a moment, even if that happened in the Ahsoka series, right? This wild dream that you could have all these like fake CGI dead eyes Luke Skywalker come back and they're reunited. It doesn't matter. Like, because that's not real. Like we've seen the end for these characters. We know what happens. So it doesn't matter at this point in time. There's
yep.
nothing you can do to fix that without retroactively going back and, actually saying, hey, we've made a horrific mistake. We understand that. We're wiping these things out of existence.
And that's not going to happen. You know it, and I know it. So it just ain't happening. But hey, we'll see how the reaction goes. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I won't be watching at all. Look at Disco Cobra with a 50. 50 says not related to these topics. Says I'm attempting to get back into YouTube again. I'm curious. Do you think I should continue on an old channel or start fresh? Also, I'm not good at editing and have money to pay an editor. Should I pay for an editor? Okay, so a couple things. Yes, you should start fresh. Assuming you probably don't have a massive old channel to pick up on. I'm assuming it's relatively small. I would recommend starting fresh. Just create the new channel, new algorithm. Ryan's going to say the same thing because he's given this advice 1,000 times. And then as far as editing goes, I don't think editing necessarily matters in the beginning. I think it's about getting the right algorithm. And as I've told people 100,000 times, don't make a long video. Make a video. Think about yourself as a YouTube viewer. You're a YouTube viewer, just like me, just like Ryan, just like anyone. When you see a video from a channel you don't know, if you click on that video, first of all, that video needs to be under 10 minutes long. If you click on that video, if the person introduces themselves for the first 10 minutes or of a 10-minute video, if they introduce themselves for the first 2 or 3 minutes about your Instagram and your TikTok and your Patreon, then people are just going to stop watching. Make the video topic and start out with that video topic. Don't introduce yourself. Don't say shit. Nobody gives a fuck about you. They only care about the topic. And then you work your way into maybe getting more of like a small intro, but I wouldn't recommend a long intro. Just like, hey, it's so-and-so. Go ahead, Ryan. I know you got something to say.
I would just say that it all just depends on what you're doing in terms of keeping it less than 10 minutes. Yeah, like if you're trying to make kind of news-related or reaction-related topics like we are, 100%, there's no need to keep it long. If you're doing, I don't know what your channel is going to be. If your channel is breaking down chapters of Fire and Blood and relating it to what House of the Dragon season 2 is going to be, maybe it is a 15-minute video, but it all depends on what you want to do. And in terms of editing as well, it all depends on what you want to do. For us, like there's no fucking real editing that we need to do in ours because of the nature of how we record. We record on OBS and we add an intro and an outro, maybe cut out a couple times that we accidentally say racial slurs during a video, stuff like that. That's all the editing that we have to do. Whereas if you're going to make something that's a video essay, like maybe you do need to get somebody to help you. But overall, I wouldn't worry about a video editor if you're going to make news-based reaction content. 100%.
In the beginning, I think you should do news-based stuff in the beginning. Yeah. And then if you want to work your way up towards other stuff, obviously, yes, you can evolve from there. But I'm just talking about in the beginning. I saw a lot of people were saying, well, Jeremy Mauler. Yeah, Mauler is established, and Mauler's been doing this a long-ass time. And so, yeah, Mauler can do whatever the fuck he wants now. But even Drinker doesn't start his videos going, hey, everybody, I'm Critical Drinker. Check me out on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. No, he starts out with the topic.
Yeah, he's just like, it used to be in Hollywood that whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
It seems to have worked out okay for him.
Yeah,
But,
if people like you enough, they'll go find your socials and they'll follow you on all the respective platforms. But
I think Drinker's got real potential. I think his channel is
I
ready to
really,
explode.
I saw him. So it was weird because I saw Drinker hanging out with this other guy. He had a beard. I'm not saying I'm predicting anything, but these two guys seem like they have a knack for YouTube. Okay, I think his name was Nerdaholic or Nerdy Erotic or something like that. And like him and Drinker, I think they both have potential. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. But is Drunk 3PO on the chat? What's up, Drunk 3PO? Congratulations on 75,000 subscribers.
Look at that.
75,000 subscribers.
That's
he had glasses. The nerdy holic guy or nerdy erotic guy. He had glasses. I think he's gonna do some good things here on YouTube. Pretty sure of it. So,
all right. Like I said, I started off by saying I think the Critical Drinker's got a real chance. So Nerdaholic, I don't know, maybe a little bit old for this YouTube thing.
I think it's nerdy. I think it's nerdy erotic. It's not Nerdaholic. That was my mistake. I would never want to mistake a man's YouTube channel.
I can't believe this guy has 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah, if he get a little more relevant, I would remember his name. And I think he will. So keep it up, young man.
Still, one of my favorite comments of all time is his Batman review that got ratioed, where someone's like, "I can't believe how did this guy get 30,000 subscribers?" And it was on his second channel, the live channel, not realizing that he has 500,000 at that time or something on his main. That was great.
Oh man, what's up, Gremlin? Won't let me super chat the MSG. I want so bad. I put it in regular chat. Listen, regular chat.
Did you put bad in there?
Yeah, what did you put?
You're like having a hard time talking.
I know. Won't let me super chat the MSG. I put it regular chat. Find if want. Yeah. I was just reading what he said. We love Gremlin.
No, you slipped the word bad in there. You
I
said,
know.
I want so bad.
I know. That's what I was just assuming.
Yeah.
Fucked it all up. Look, all I know is this right here.
I know words. I have the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
There we go. So, Gremlin, what are you up to, man? Have you been? Gremlin always dropping those like big freaking membership bombs.
AJ Markle, member for 36 months. I don't know if we were this one. Disney's downfall started in 2012 and other companies followed, in my opinion.
When?
2012.
Well, that's when they purchased Disney Star Wars, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or purchased Lucasfilm. I think looking back on it, it's really easy to see that this was never done for the right reasons. It just wasn't. It obviously had some short-term success in the beginning, but yeah, it's really easy to look back and realize that this was never going to be long-term successful at all.
Well, I think too, when you go back and you look at Bob Iger's kind of tenure, because he was there when they bought Pixar, right? Like Bob Iger was the one behind that purchase, right?
I believe so. I don't think Eisner was. I think Eisner was out at that point in time.
So I think Iger goes in and Iger buys Pixar. He buys Marvel. He buys Lucasfilm. They acquire all of these things, and kind of just make themselves into this fucking behemoth. When you look at all these franchises that they have, but they weren't like creating that stuff. They were buying things that these other people had created, and I don't know if that. I don't know if that's led, like if that approach has led to kind of where we are with Disney. Now you see that there's no creativity at Disney right now. Like they're just remaking things that have been successful for them in the past. When you look at all these live action remakes, and now people are finally tired of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but it just seems like the focus of the company to just, instead of being creative and growing on your own, buying your way to the top, that seems like to be what Disney decided to do.
And it worked for a while, but it's definitely not something that's going to have long-term success over, like I say, the next 20 years. The creativity at Disney, like Pixar's creativity, is so bad right now, man. It's if you look back at what they were and what they used to be, they were the gold standard for storytelling, and now they're awful.
But when it comes to Disney animation, the only like creativity they're thinking about is how many trans people are going to put in this fucking kids movie.
Yep.
Like that's how creative can we get by introducing a non-binary character?
Yep.
Florida Rogue, member for 2 months. G&G scanning emotes. Hail to Jeremy and Ryan and to this great community you've built.
Hey,
wow. Thanks, Florida Rogue.
Hey, there's Gremlin. Sorry, typing one hand. No worries.
He's driving.
I tried to add words to your super chat.
I want so bad. X for $5. The whole point of Snow White is a rare story where kindness and caring are shown as a strength. Not every princess needs to be Xena. 100%. You got Mulan for shit like that, right? So speaking of the name X, Jeremy, what do you think of Elon's like whole removing blocking thing?
I mean, on the premise, I think it's I don't block people. So in theory, like, I kind of enjoy the fact there could be chaos, but it's like I don't think I don't like taking the ability from people away. I like for people to have options.
Right.
I don't like for you to take options away from people. I like for people to have options, even if I don't like the option or if I don't personally use the option. I think it's good for people to have those options. The thought of it is there's a lot of people that have me blocked, and it would be funny as fuck if I wasn't blocked anymore. But in reality, I don't like the idea of it. Now, I guess they're talking about like enhancing the mute button, essentially.
Basically, be blocked.
Yeah. One thing I've always there's two ways about this. I've never really loved the Twitter block system, where I think if you're blocked, you should just never appear to someone. And if they see your name, they click it and it just gives an error code or something or whatever. But when they display like so-and-so has you blocked, it's such an easy way to like, screenshot that and be like, look at this bitch for blocking me. You know what I mean? So the entire Twitter system is meant to make you fight with people. It's everything about it is meant to make you fight.
I would be in favor of somehow being able to disable blockchains and things like that in terms of people. Hey, I'm going to block anyone who follows this person. Like, I think that's bullshit. And I think that maybe if you could find a way to figure that out and figure out whatever they use to be able to do that, which is usually like a third party thing, I think that would be of value. But in terms of removing the block button in general, I don't agree with that. Like, I think I have 5 people blocked in entirety. Basically, I think all of those virtually, except maybe one, are people that are just spamming stuff in my replies. Whether it's like porn bots or whatever.
Yeah.
What if like somebody's got a stalker and they're doxing you or whatever? Like to not let people get rid of that. That has nothing to do, to me. That's not free speech. You're not taking away the person's platform. You're just not allowing the content on your shit or to comment on your thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I'm not for the block button being removed. I'm for it staying. If you want to update it, that's fine. With that said, if it gets removed, I will be going into the replies of Star Wars Explained every fucking day, all fucking day, and just tweeting the fuck out of him for blocking not only me, but every single person that follows me. I'll have fun with that one, but I don't think it'll happen. But no, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I don't like the premise of it. I think it's a bad move. And Elon's been kind of like what he said to James Wood was bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I know. And that's why I don't really understand what his end goal is with this. He seemed like his response to James Woods was really stupid. He's getting ratioed for it. And Elon is someone who's blocked a lot of people in the past.
Yeah, he has.
And obviously he's like making fun of it now. I'm blocking people that disagree with blocking. Haha, how's it feel? But he's blocked people in the past. Now he did come out and say I'm going to unblock those people after he bought Twitter. I don't know if he actually did that or not, but it's weird.
It is weird. And I know This will probably be a very unpopular thing. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't like community notes. I know that most libs get absolutely annihilated with community notes. I don't like community notes. I think that's one of the main reasons Trump won't come back to Twitter. I think he's going to get community noted like hell because I think community notes is massively flawed, and who fact checks the fact checkers. You know what I mean? Like Robert Barnes was community noted the other day for retweeting Brian Kemp. I saw Az got community noted multiple times. I just don't like the idea of community notes. If someone says something, let people respond to them in any other, like just like they would any other tweet or any, like let the community police the community. And I don't like the idea of community notes. I think it will ultimately turn out to be a bad thing in the long run. I know it's funny right now when you see actors and politicians and all of that, especially the libs. I'm just telling you, I'm not a fan of fact checking on platforms. I think it's a bullshit process and it's done by people that you could never trust in the first place. So I don't like community notes. Don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like when people are wrong about things or like spreading like actual misinformation. Take case in point, the Rachel Zegler thing the other day, which clearly was not her responding to Snow White. Clearly was a video that was from 2022, but it didn't matter because the freaking people, that kind of conservative media, right? Conservative media took it and they ran with it and they spread it as far as the eye could see. So now it doesn't even matter if that's community noted now. Doesn't even matter that I tried to, respond and correct people. 95% of people out there, they saw it that first time, and they're just going to assume that Rachel Zegler, that was her apology for the Snow White thing. And so it's fucked now.
Yep.
And I don't like that. So I wish there was a better way other than community notes to fix those things. But
I kind of think like it's almost like anything else.
People are retarded. Like people in general are retarded and don't do research on things.
Yeah.
So
but like
change.
It's like anything else. And I saw someone saying it is users, Jeremy, that's doing the community notes. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about anything else. It's just like when YouTube took the dislike button away, then it moved to the comment section. So if you would go to, say, a video that might be a bullshit video, used to, you could just check the like dislike, and that was the way that you could tell is this bullshit or not. Now you have to go to the comment section, and if you can find a comment that has more likes than the video itself, then that's kind of your kind of standard of like, okay, this is probably bullshit or whatever. Let people clean up people's messes. That's how I've always felt about it. Community notes is so, like, the moment that a community note gets on an account, the original point is lost. You know what I mean? Like, the original point is lost. It doesn't matter what's in the community note. It doesn't matter. The fact is, most people that see it that's community noted are automatically going to go, oh, well, it's bullshit. They're not going to read. They don't care what the further context is. They just care that, hey, this must be bullshit because it got community noted. People don't look that far into shit, period. And so I don't like it. I don't like it. So, and I've said this from the beginning. I still laugh when some fucking lib gets hit. That's funny. It's always going to be funny. But ultimately, I would rather not have community notes be a thing.
All right. Where the fuck was I on this list? I don't know. Hugh Jass, Rigger number 199 scanning in. Hail. Bruce Flash for $5. Ryan wishes Angel Manuel Soto's Twitter wasn't protected, so we could ask him, how does it taste, motherfucker? He's probably aware. Maybe we got some mutual friends that could tell him how I feel. I don't know. Lance Johnson, member for 4 months, says director's job done. That's right. Eduardo Cuevas, hola, Senor Ryan. Thank you for trashing Blue Beetle. De nada. American Ninja, member for 4 months. Hail 199, scanning in. If anyone hasn't heard, the new Kick mobile app 2.0 is live. It's so much better.
Really? Look that up.
I think I'm going to do a Kick stream soon.
You got to, man.
Well, I got my Twitch channel's dead thanks to you. So I got to restart over on Kick, I suppose. But
you'll love it.
I'm probably going to do a combo stream, RK Outpost Gaming, and Kick. That's probably what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week because I'm pretty busy towards the end of the week. But at some point, I've got a streaming setup. Jeremy, I have a computer on a rolling cart.
You told me about this.
Yeah, I've got a computer on a rolling. You know the ones that you see like at Lowe's or Walmart, people like bringing around shit, or that you could have it like in a work garage or something.
Yep.
I've got the computer sitting on the bottom shelf, and then on the top, I've got my keyboard, mouse, monitor, and my microphone with a boom arm. I can roll that out, and right in my couch, I can sit there and I can stream. That's the goal that we're gonna do. So we're gonna test that out. Couch streaming.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so you have a Kick channel, right?
Yes, RK Outpost. That's it.
There you go. I'm sure a mod can drop a link. Let's get Ryan some followers over there. Let's get him streaming some video games. Maybe I
had 21 yesterday.
Maybe he'll play some Fortnite with us at some point.
But people said that. People like, you should play Fortnite. I'm like, I think there's enough Fortnite in the world.
Yeah, hey, there's gonna be an Ahsoka skin for next season.
Can I shoot her?
Yes.
That's gonna be like, it's gonna be a cheat because she can't die, right? Dave Filoni won't let her die, so that's how her character's gonna be in Fortnite.
Oh man,
maybe it'll look better. Maybe her freaking head tails will actually be the appropriate length instead of this bullshit Rosario Dawson we get.
It'll probably be it's gonna be interesting. I think it's probably going to be Rosario Dawson. As I'm pretty sure it'll be that.
It's probably going to be it's probably going to not look exact. You know what? Like the Fortnite versions, they look stylized in a certain way.
Yeah.
So it might even be tough to tell who it is. That's my guess. But I don't fucking know. Spider Unlimited for 5. The press trying to sell Blue Beetle as a success that it took over Barbie on week 4 at $25 million only. Yeah, there's been a little bit of spin in the headlines, but you can't really do too much. Most of them were like, Blue Beetle dethrones Barbie, yet still comes in at a soft 25 million.
Yeah.
Barbie will probably beat it next week. Barbie beat it worldwide, by the way. Like globally, when you factor in Barbie's international haul this weekend, Barbie beat it. Just domestic, it lost by like $4 million.
And Barbie's going to pass Mario, I guess, next week.
It already passed it worldwide, right?
I thought it was domestically is where it passed it. It's like it's just a tick behind it worldwide. Maybe I'm wrong, unless maybe I missed some of the updated numbers. But I think it passed it. It already well passed it. Domestically for sure. And Oppenheimer is over $700 million.
Even though Jake Paul walked out.
Huh?
Even though Jake Paul walked out.
What are you talking about?
Didn't you see that?
I didn't see that. Jake Paul walked out of Oppenheimer. That just lets you know how good the movie was. Jake Paul probably didn't get enough explosions.
Jake says Logan Paul. Not Jake Paul.
That's even better.
Right. Logan Paul says he walked out of Oppenheimer. Quote, everyone's just talking.
Jesus. Oh my God.
And then I saw some people interpreting that as he walked out because people in the theater were talking. When I think he means the movie.
Yes. But, I would imagine he meant the movie. And that's funny because that's exactly what I would expect from Logan Paul in a movie that was dialogue heavy and wasn't again normie. I expected it.
To Slayer 96 to second. When I get high, I will make Goody Bud animation. Nice. Cole Hauser for 5. Happy Monday, Jeremy and Ryan. Thanks for keeping a brother entertained each morning. Thanks, dudes. 2003 Clone Wars. Enough said. 199 Yo Joe. I'm down for that. Mike Hill for 5 or for 10. Disney Star Wars is desperate to make money, so they're releasing the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian on video in December. Man, releasing your streaming exclusive content on Blu-ray is interesting.
That is interesting.
I don't know.
I wonder if we're gonna come full circle where physical media ever becomes a thing again.
Sometime eventually, maybe. I doubt it at this point, but think of what Disney's doing in Australia. They're no longer doing any physical releases in Australia.
I know.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think is the last one.
Like, it's going to be interesting because I felt that I felt that years ago, obviously when Netflix kind of took over and everything became, like the binge model, and then it felt like it changed kind of television forever. And then, of course, we saw some other companies come out and they start doing the kind of the weekly release on streaming, and it felt like we might be swinging back to the weekly release. You saw kind of Netflix go to kind of switch up like this duel with this two-way, half the season for Stranger Things and the other half of the season. So you're like, oh, are they kind of shifting back to that? But now it seems like it's shifting back to maybe the binge model.
I
I
think
don't know.
Netflix is going to continue to do these hybrid releases for things that they think are big. They did it for Witcher, right? Obviously didn't work because they destroyed The Witcher. But in principle, like the theory, makes sense to reduce churn, to do all these things. But when it comes to other things, like things that they acquire, like Suits that have 8 seasons, of course they're just going to throw that all up.
Yeah.
Like that makes, perfect sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the reason I bring that up is because it's like it's hard. Again, it was hard for me to imagine that we would ever swing back to swing away from the binge model. And then, of course, we did kind of see that for a while, and it felt like, hey, maybe there's gonna. But now it feels like it's swinging back to it. In I don't know, 5-10 years, it's hard to imagine that we could ever move back to physical media. It is, and I don't think that we truly ever will. But it will be interesting. Will they go that route to try to make more money? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
All right. Well, should we talk about this Rachel Zegler stuff since we're at 50
Let's
minutes
do
in and
it.
haven't talked about it?
Let's do it.
Um,
The new Brie Larson.
yeah, that's
She's
for
actually
sure.
she's actually far more unlikable.
Yes, she is. Listen, when I want the history books to mention my name when they talk about Brie Larson's redemption. All right. When they talk about when people finally realize that, you know what? She's all right now. I want my name to be mentioned there, that my tweet was the turning point for her. Someone who I don't know if we've seen a turning point yet, and I don't know if we will, is Rachel Zegler. Although she's very, very young, it looks like she's already torpedoing her career because the things that Rachel Zegler is doing and has said and continues to do and act out with are embarrassing, and people are continuing to call her out. And now it looks like after all the Snow White backlash, after all these interviews resurface, and she goes out and plays victim on social media saying, I wish everyone would be kinder. You should just love everybody regardless of their mistakes. Sad posting on Twitter. Then she started doing something else, and that was reposting things that seemed to be very bitter towards men. Rachel Zegler appears to respond to Snow White criticism by sharing videos from a Lady Gaga fan account hating on men. Now, I don't know what inspired her to share these two random things from a Lady Gaga fan account, but people couldn't help but notice that the two things she reposted from it both seem to be very tired of men. This is what we have. Both of these were reposted by Rachel Zegler, kind of back to back, Jeremy. Here's one. You can't hear it because I've only shared the window instead of my screen.
Here comes the boomer comments.
Streamlabs or StreamYard needs to fix that.
They do need to fix that. It's really dumb.
Audio when you're sharing your window, you can only do it if you're full screen, which is annoying.
It is very annoying.
But let's listen to this. Fucking men. And then this other one, and these were posted like a couple, randomly, right? Days apart. This is now Lady Gaga. That's an interesting leotard, sweatpants, hanging low combo. Don't mind it making food there. But listen to what she says.
I feel like my threshold for like bullshit with men is just I don't have one anymore.
So random for Rachel Zegler to post these two things back to back after all this backlash. Unfortunately for her, it's not just men that are kind of fed up with her. In fact, there's a lot of women that don't like Rachel Zegler right now that are calling her out. There's a lot of Disney fans, female Disney fans who love Snow White, who are calling her ass out. And the attempt to just throw men under the bus or blame men, it's just something else that's going to backfire in her face.
It really will. And it couldn't have happened to a more unlikable human being after the Gina Carano stuff. And it's been, I can't believe how mega viral the backlash against her has gone now. There's people talking about it that I was like, what? They're talking about this now? Like, it's all over the place. And that's a good thing. And we need to see more of this. You need to be called out for what you're doing. And as Ryan has said many times, even Disney fans are now fucking furious with her disrespecting Snow White, an all-time classic, a legendary classic that changed the industry, that changed the business, that changed the company that is, that she's working for. And yeah, it really is amazing how she kind of represents this kind of newer generation that have no respect for what came before it. They don't respect who laid the groundwork. And they're the first. She's the first female that's ever done anything. The first black person that was ever in a movie was in Black Panther. It's that mentality, that type of mentality we continue to get. That's why we meme on it so much. It's just a lack of respect for what came before it. And we'll continue to see it, but I'm glad she's getting on this backlash. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to slow down, even though she's not really speaking very much because she just can't help herself.
Baba Boomer just dropped a $200 super chat. 199 plus 1. Thank you.
Thank you,
crap.
Baba Boomer. Baba Boomer for
crap.
200.
Whoa.
That's wild.
Awesome. Holy crap. Thank you. God bless the 199 plus 1. Appreciate you, man. That is amazing. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Over on Rumble, we got a couple to run through. Vault 95 Survivor for $1, scanning in 199. Thank you. And then for 2, he says the Hollywood monopoly on entertainment is being broken up by not by antitrust, but by their own bad decisions. Hail the Iron Age and the 199. Thank you. Vault Survivor for $1. Maybe the audience will get lucky and Disney unannounced will slowly delete Star Wars off their servers to save money. There's a report out there that Disney Plus is considering deleting more Disney Plus content to save money. So who knows? Vault 95 Survivor. Go ahead.
Speaking of, I just said it's crazy seeing the Libs of TikTok just posted this. It's from the Post Millennial. New woke Snow White is becoming more unlikable every day. Now we learn she encouraged the cancellation of Gina Carano over pronoun joke. Because of course she did.
Right. Yeah, welcome to 6 days ago.
Yeah. So I'm just saying though, it's like the amount of people that are talking about this story, you know what I mean? Is like Valuetainment had a big segment on it. And I'm like, they don't normally talk about like that. I love Valuetainment, you know what I mean? But they're talking about more like real world politics and stuff like that. And the fact they're talking about Disney actress and going after the fans, like hell yeah.
Yeah, it's something that transcends like the culture war arena, beyond just entertainment. So
Yep.
Vault Survivor for $1. Do you get annoyed that the most current year space movies, when there's an explosion, like the Disney edited Death Star explosion, there's a huge ring that comes out? Well, I don't know if that was the Disney edited Star Wars or if that was the special edition.
I think that was
special edition in 97 where they first brought that in.
Pretty sure that is. I think. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, obviously, whenever it comes to battles in space and explosions, you always have to wonder. There's a little bit of like suspension of disbelief of how big would this explosion get in a vacuum, versus, okay, so you have like highly like super crazy fuel that might cause an explosion. How big or little would it be once it hits that vacuum of space? Would it die? These questions are kind of tough to answer for us, but obviously in a sci-fi environment, it's going to be a little bit, extra just for that entertainment value added, which I don't inherently have a massive problem with it. Ronan for 5. Hail G&G. D-Day, you're one of my first YouTube channels I followed during KK's sequel trilogy disaster. To Ryan, I appreciate your takes and honesty. I appreciate all in the G&G fam. Keep up your success. Thank you, Ronan, over on Rumble.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Back on YouTube, J Mill for 5. Zegler also starring in Hunger Games prequel coming up. They have to be a little worried. Yeah, I don't know what the Ballad of Snake Songs or Snakes and Songbirds, whatever the fuck that thing's called. It's got too long of a title. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think is what it is.
That's like a terrible title.
She is in that. Fluffy
Terrible
Baby
title.
I've confused, saw flop in the title and thought it was a stream about your Mario Kart performance. You know they'll screw up Ahsoka. Woke is their religion.
Hey, I was I mean Johnny wasn't there, so but I'm pretty sure I was the champ last week. I'm pretty sure. And let's be real. Beardo, it is his birthday, so happy birthday, Beardo. He's gonna be doing a live stream later, but let's be real. I kind of cleaned up on Mario Golf Saturday. I kind of won big time. And I also did it when Melanie was here. I won in Mario Golf as well. So I'm basically the GOAT.
No delays or no penalties because you didn't hit it quick enough this time, huh?
What's that? Oh yeah, on that one, yeah, thankfully. God, I still can't believe that fucking happened. Unbelievable.
Chris B for 2 over under on Ahsoka having trans representation by the end. I think we would have heard if somebody had been cast for it already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing is like they can't just allow stuff like that to they can't just allow stuff like that to be in something. They have to celebrate it, announce it, tell you that you have to praise it, and then when you criticize it, then they play the victim. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Supman for 5. Taika Waititi making Thor 5. F Marvel, MCU, and Disney. I'm gonna kind of
Is that official?
It's not.
Okay.
In fact, it was pretty much fake fucking news that went around. Which again, I made a video trying to counteract some of that, but it was like it was in the Thor: Love and Thunder official book that came out with interviews with people, and it was Taika Waititi talking about what he thought could happen in the next Thor movie, right? And it was basically a hypothetical, response to what he thought. He said, well, it should be something that moves Thor's story forward, and you'd have to have a villain that's probably even more powerful than Hela and blah, 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 all this stuff. But in no way was it a Taika Waititi's directing Thor 5. That's not what it was. Now, would it surprise me? Not necessarily if it happened down the line. But of course, after that fake news gets kind of twisted and put out there by a couple different people that tweeted it out, then you have the very reliable scoopers that come in and say, I've got word that Thor 5's in the works at Marvel and it'll probably be Taika Waititi. It's just such bullshit how that stuff spins.
Yeah, when I heard it, I was like, I mean, I don't care personally. I didn't see Thor: Love and Thunder, but I was just like, that's kind of weird with all the nonsense surrounding, and then with the writer strike. It's really weird timing. You know what I mean? To have that announcement, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like I'm gonna show you the fucking like this is the original source of all this stuff. Taika Waititi reveals what he would do with a hypothetical Thor 5. New worlds, outlandish monsters, and an enemy stronger than Hela. While there's no Thor 5 in development, Waititi revealed in Titans Thor: Love and Thunder, the official movie special book, what he would do if given an opportunity to direct a new installment in the Thor series. Like, that's the base, like, that's the framework around where it came out. But all it took was one news Twitter, account that said Thor 5 or Taika Waititi developing Thor 5 with Marvel, and it took off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
that's this context surrounding that.
There you go. I personally, I mean, they should
go for it, please.
Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. Be another Thor movie I won't be watching.
Cole Hauser for 2. Ryan, I've never heard you say anything racial. Riggers. Thank you. Dubby Nanners for 2. Nerd Erotic. Thank you.
Nerd Erotic. He's in the chat. Nerd Erotic.
Nerd Erotic.
Yeah.
Stumpy for 5. Only way that Rachel Zegler will face a worse opening would be if she went down on Hillary. Ooh. That's pretty gross.
That's pretty gross.
Aberjam for 5. Faux White in the 7 Dorks will flop harder than Little Mermaid. We was Tangs. Thank you. Hayden for 10. I kind of feel like weirdo lefties are correct on this one. It feels like Elon wants to remove the block button because they showed him how many people have him blocked. I think they just realized that the fewer people are blocked, the more opportunities there are for ads. That's what I think, personally. Gremlin Anku for 20. Mickey Diversity Games explains the business perfect. Mickey Diversity Games. Okay. Tomac for 20. Do you guys think we should be worried with the upcoming MGS collection opening with content warning that some content will be removed?
Yeah, it's talking about the Metal Gear Solid collection. I know there's some stories going around about that. I'm actually going to be checking that out. I just heard about some of those stories dropping, so I will follow up with you on that. But yeah, I mean, this is the world we live in, man. This is why physical media will always be like the originals and all of that. It's always the way to go. But yeah, I can't think of anything. Again, I can't keep up with what people are offended over day to day. So I guess there's some new stuff that they'll remove because it's insensitive or some shit.
Yeah, I think Snake used a homophobic slur. Pilgrim Media for 2. I'm starting to despise DC like Disney. James Gunn's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah, he does.
Terrible T for 199. Thoughts on the cancellation of Amazon Video? The only one I really saw was the A League of Their Own. I might make a video about that at some point, but yeah, A League of Their Own. You know, the remake that they did, except everybody was fucking gay. Yeah, that got canceled at Amazon. Go fuck yourselves.
Man, I was watching the first Fast and Furious. Jed was actually here. I mean, Jed were watching it, and you know, like first 5 minutes of the movie, we get the F word dropped, you know, and I was like, man, I miss the good old days, you know.
Yeah,
God.
Hangover.
Yes, yes.
Coys for 199. Rachel also liked a tweet, I believe, Amber Heard. An Amber Heard tweet or a tweet about Amber Heard? Okay.
I watched the first episode of that Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard deal where Ricada and that Umbrella guy's in it and all that. It's pretty damn good. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I heard about I haven't seen it. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but
pretty damn interesting.
Slayer 96 to second for Canadian 1. Thank you. Lil Rash for 2. Is this now an existential issue for AOZ's career? Are you talking about Rachel Zegler?
Yeah, I think they call her AOC Light or something like that, or AOC Junior. So AOZ is what they call her. It's a pretty good name, actually. That's a pretty good name.
I mean, she dressed up as her. She's very young, but she's definitely. I think she's doing a lot of damage to her credibility right now, and she's got a couple these movies coming out. Let's see how this one, this prequel for whatever it's called. Hunger Games works out. And then, because right now she's been in West Side Story, financial failure. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, financial failure. Hunger Games, we'll see how that does. And then Snow White. That's the 4 things that she's actually been in that I know of. Like, that could be really fucking bad for her.
I've seen some people say, like, no, it's not good. YouTube creators get screwed over. What about it? I don't know anything about that. So,
all right. Yeah. So the only thing I know about the Netflix thing is that, right, they included those things in there.
Yes.
And then some YouTubers that were reacting to Netflix got copyright hit for it, even though, like, in some cases, it was their own content that was in there, right?
Absolutely.
That's the stuff that's going on.
Okay.
But in terms of Netflix using YouTubers' content in general, I have zero problem with it, and there is zero problem with it.
There is no
in
problem
terms of
with
their
it.
bots striking that content, that is bullshit.
Yes.
But in terms of them putting YouTuber stuff in there, there's no problem with that. For the same reason, there's no problem with us reacting to those things.
Yeah, 100%. You can't have it both ways. So,
Right.
yeah, there's, you know, it's public, you know, information, and if they're telling a story that they need to utilize that with, they can. The only issue I would have with it is if they were covering names. They clearly did not do that. They were giving people full credit in terms of their names being on there. So I don't know anything else is going on.
And from what I've heard, they may have been kind of not necessarily representing the YouTubers' full like thoughts about the trial, like with full context. Again, that wouldn't really surprise me considering, like, take Ricada. How many hours did Ricada stream the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff? You know,
Yeah.
like there's probably 200, 250, 300 hours or something worth of streaming for that. So yeah, there's a lot of shit out there. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't give my thoughts, but
yeah, I watched the first episode, and you know, it was building the case for, and again, so I don't know what this. I think it's 3 episodes total, but yeah, it was basically building out the case for Johnny versus Amber, and especially kind of talking about how more popular he was. They did have some. They were showing both sides of the equation, though, for sure. I don't know how it ends, so I can't speak to that. But it was interesting because I thought it was cool to see fellow YouTubers on there. I thought it was good.
CJ for 5. They should remake A New Hope with Luke missing his proton torpedoes. Then Ahsoka comes up and destroys the Death Star, and Luke takes credit for it. There you go. Bert, member for 16 months. KK's trying to sabotage Tuesday night's main event. Are you guys nervous about TNME going up head to head against Ahsoka with the new 9 p.m. Eastern release? Interesting strategy.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing. They should have been doing this for 2 years.
I'll just grift off of them. Say, hey, for everybody that's not giving your money to Disney, send super chats here tonight and show them what they could be missing out on. We can grift off that.
Steel leg of history for 5. I overdid it the other day, hooking up some new Wi-Fi equipment for my mom and sis and hurt my knee. I'll have the package mailed out next week. Be blessed. Hey, take care of yourself, buddy.
Absolutely.
Coys for 199 liked a tweet from a random account saying that. Something about Amber Heard. So there you go. And I think we're all caught up.
We are all caught up. Another one in the books. Geeks and Gamers Daily. Thank you guys for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. I think we're up to almost 1,000 likes now. 2,500 people. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody on Rumble. Again, Mario Kart happening tonight here on this channel. And then after that, Cobra Cast. And man, coming off at Friday Cobra Cast, that was a banger right there. We had Robert Barnes on in the second hour. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I really appreciate you guys supporting as always. Look at Neanderthal 2020 with the one more. Thank you, Neanderthal. Appreciate you, brother. How you been? I haven't seen you around lately, man. You doing okay? Wiley Dave's in the chat. Let's see who else in the chat real quick as we say goodbye to everybody. Of course, Viper Chief's in the chat. Metalhead says can't wait for tonight. Mad Dog Gamer. The funny part about Blue Beetle's here we go. The funny part about Blue Beetle's director is that he's not Mexican.
He's Puerto Rican.
Those awful jokes about tacos and Mexican culture come off as distastefully racist. Yeah, I mean, those are priests allowed to have the most to hide, and he's no exception to that. Cole Hauser says, let's see. Hey, Jeremy, remember when Spike and Ultra Magnus swore in the 86 movie, other releases, they removed it, 199. The 86 Transformers movie fucked up a lot of stuff, man. That literally changed the 87 G.I. Joe movie because of the fallout from the Transformers movie. Because of all the death in the Transformers movie, they rewrote. I don't even know if they rewrote, but they changed up. They changed up Duke's death, and he didn't die. He was just in a coma because of the backlash that the Transformers movie received.
No one's ever really gone.
No one's ever really gone. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great day. We'll see you for Mario Kart tonight. Subscribe to Geeks and Gamers Clips so you can see all of these uploaded videos over there that Steph does a great job editing. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.